Oh, hello everybody. It's me, Chris Smith. I didn't see you there. Did you all watch the Tony Awards the other night? The 75th Tony Awards. You know, it was a very good show and it was hosted by Ariana DeBose of West Side Story fame. And it was a 4 hour extravaganza. The first hour was on Paramount Plus and was hosted by Darren Criss and Julianne Hough. And yes, it was very good. And then the last 3 hours, you could either watch it on Paramount Plus or you could watch it on CBS. I got in a panic that maybe something wouldn't work, so then I switched over to CBS, even though I used to work for CBS, and you know, they weren't that great to me. But yes, you know, the ratings were up this year. They drew an audience of a whopping 3.9 million viewers. Now that's up 1 million from last year, but it's still considered sort of low because according to this, the Oscars had 16 million this year, up from last year's low of 10 million. Of course, that was during the pandemic, and it was all weird. Every awards show was weird when they even had one. And the Grammys had 9 million this year. But we're happy with our 3.9 million viewers because at least it's an improvement. Now, as you know, A Strange Loop won the Best Musical. The Lehman Trilogy won the Best Play. And I feel sort of bad because I think I've told you before, viewers, that the Lehman Trilogy, I always say Lehman because of Lehman Ingle. But yes, I think it's Lehman, the Lehman Trilogy, after the Lehman Brothers. It was here in LA and I thought it looked boring as hell because it was all about finance and history and business, and I mean, I'm sure it was very good. It won many awards. It won 5 awards, and Company won 5 awards, and MJ won 4 awards, and Dana H won 2, and 6, the musical, won 2, and A Strange Loop won 2, and Take Me Out won 2, and Girl from the North Country, Paradise Square, Skeleton Crew, and The Skin of Our Teeth all won 1 award. So it was all sort of spread out this year, which is nice. It wasn't so all lopsided like when Hamilton won everything, and you know, Spring Awakening that year won 8 awards, which, speaking of Spring Awakening, they had the original cast of Spring Awakening reunited 15 years later as they did on the HBO documentary special. And they performed a number, and that was my favorite number of the evening. Yes. So if you can find that online, check that out. And you can also watch the Tony Awards if you have Paramount Plus. It's currently on there still. Maybe, do they still have CBS.com? I don't know. So all the musicals performed: Girl from the North Country, MJ, Billy Crystal in Mr. Saturday Night. It's just called Mr. Saturday Night, but I always like to say Billy Crystal in Mr. Saturday Night. You know, one time Billy Crystal came to the place where I work. Now, nobody told me that Billy Crystal was coming, and I saw him coming, and I didn't know who it was because he had on a little hat, like a cute Newsies hat, sort of. And he came and he was like starting to sign in. And I said, "What's your name?" And he said, "Billy Crystal." And of course I was horrified to think that I didn't recognize him. And I said, "Oh, Billy Crystal, I'm sorry, I almost didn't recognize you." And he was like, "Why is that?" And I said, "Oh, it must be the hat." So I saved it right then. But it really was the hat because, you know, you're used to Billy Crystal and his hair the way we normally think of it, and I just don't expect to see certain people in certain places, so I don't think that they're there. I also can't remember people's faces. Like if I see somebody at work and then I see them out in the world, I generally don't recognize them. Isn't that strange? Also, Paradise Square performed, Six the Musical, and A Strange Loop, which of course, as I told you, won the Tony for Best Musical. Now, Caroline or Change didn't perform, which I was devastated, but the show had closed, so why would it? And it cost money to perform. Company performed, and the Music Man. Yes, I did not know that until, a while back, that it costs the show money to perform the actual show that's performing. It costs them, of course, they have to get all the actors together, do rehearsals, they have to get the costumes, and so if you've already closed, why would you perform at the Tonys except that it's nice? But I thought they should have shown more clips. Like they should have shown clips of the like little scenes from the plays. They would show scenes but with music playing over them, so you really couldn't get the flavor of what the play was. There were times in the past where they would actually perform a scene live from the play, which also was sort of weird. But yes, I mostly have nothing bad to say about the show. I loved it. Take Me Out won Best Revival of a Play. Miles Frost won for MJ for Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role in a Musical. Now, I was cheering for either Billy Crystal for Mr. Saturday Night or Rob McClure for Mrs. Doubtfire. I was really wanting Rob McClure because Mrs. Doubtfire saved my life during the pandemic. Well, Blackie Humphrey saved my life, literally, but Mrs. Doubtfire, there was that song, As Long as There Is Love, and they had done a little thing on YouTube, like through Zoom, where everybody in the cast sang this song on Zoom. And every day I would play it over and over. And I was at my darkest depths of despair during the pandemic. And this was early in 2020, early in the pandemic, that they released this video. And I just love it. It's so happy and hopeful. So yes, I really wanted Rob McClure to win. Plus, he captured Mrs. Doubtfire, which is such a beloved movie. It really wasn't one of my favorites because, God forgive me for saying this, but Robin Williams, though we all loved him, sometimes in movies he could annoy me a little. Just some of his frantic choices. But, that's how he was. But bless him. So Mrs. Doubtfire, it always made me nervous because they fought so much. But the musical, it didn't make me feel that way because even though Rob McClure captured that character perfectly, he felt more like a normal person. No offense to Robin Williams. Yes, so I was really cheering for him, and I also wanted Jaquel Spivey of A Strange Loop to win. But Miles Frost won for MJ, and he was very good from what I could see, and he had a wonderful speech, and thanked his mother for making him the man that he was, and so that was very nice. Now, Joaquina Kalukango, I've got to learn how to say her last name because she is going to be a superstar. She won for Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role in a Musical for Paradise Square, and though the first time I watched it, I really wasn't overly thrilled with what the song from Paradise Square. I was like, but her performance was amazing, and she actually cried. You could see the emotion, the acting while she was singing. It was incredible. So I really look forward. I hope I get to see her. I would love to see her. Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role in a Play was Simon Russell Beale for the Lehman Trilogy. I'm sure it was good. Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role in a Play was Deirdre O'Connell from Dana H. And Best Performance by an Actor in a Featured Role in a Musical was Matt Doyle from Company, which was predicted for him to win. and he sings that he plays Jamie, which used to be Amy in Company before the gender swap, and he sings the song "Pardon Me, Is Everybody There?" Because everybody's there. I want to thank you all for coming to the wedding. I appreciate growing even more. And he looks like he does an amazing job. Now, Patti LuPone won Best Performance by an Actress in a Featured Role in a Musical for Company. And Jessie Tyler Ferguson won for Take Me Out for Best Performance by an Actor in a Featured Role in a Play. And the Featured Role in a Play actress for award went to Felicia Rashad for Skeleton Crew. So, I mean, it was amazing. Now, what was strange, when they did the first hour where they do a lot of the technical awards and stuff, they did the Best Score award, which went to Toby Marlowe and Lucy Moss for Six the Musical. But book, which would be my category if I were nominated, yes, so the best book, which would be my category if I were ever nominated, which I will be for something, maybe. But just being nominated is an honor. That was done on the main show. So isn't it strange that they would put the best score on the first hour, which not everybody could see, and then the other one, the best book, is separated from it and put on the main telecast. It was very strange. Some weird decisions here and there, but yes, it was a very good show. Now, did you all hear about Andrew Lloyd Webber? He had sent a letter for the closing night of Cinderella in London, and he basically wrote this letter, and they read it at the Gillian Lynn Theatre, and he said in part, "A huge thanks to everyone. We kept the government's feet to the flames and led the charge to the West End opening again. It might have been a costly mistake, but I'm proud of what we did and will forever be grateful to everyone who supported me." And there were boos from the audience because people thought that he was calling the show a costly mistake. And of course he was saying that opening the show during the pandemic was the costly part. And people got so angry, and I felt so bad for Andrew Lloyd Webber. He wrote a letter the next day, or made a statement that said, "I am devastated to have been reported to have said that my beloved production of Cinderella was a costly mistake. Nothing could be further from the truth, and I am very sorry if my words have been misunderstood. I adore this production and am incredibly, incredibly proud of Cinderella and everyone who has been involved in our show. We were desperate to support the West End after 2 years of a devastating pandemic, and the mistake was made trying to open too early, meaning we had to postpone twice. Everything we did was to try and support the West End and get everyone back to work after the worst period in our history. For now, I want to say thank you to everyone involved in Cinderella for all you have done. With love today and always, Andrew Lloyd Webber." And I think he was being genuine when, I don't think that there was any need to attack poor Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, because I know that he really did want the show to succeed, but it just had such problems with all the COVID shutdowns, and they would start and then have to stop and then start and stop. The show opened, it began previews June 25th, 2021, and officially opened August 18th, 2021, and it just finished its run June 12th, 2022. So a short run, and the show is being retooled and will open on Broadway. I don't know if it'll be next season or the season after, because I've listened to the cast recording of Cinderella, and I mean, you can't always tell what the show is like from just listening to the recording, but I wasn't overly thrilled with it, but I'm sure it's good. But I just feel bad that his words were misinterpreted, because you have to be very careful about what you say nowadays. People will just attack. Well, anyway, I'm sure I'll be talking to you all soon about things like theater and whatnot. So I have a wonderful day, and I hate wearing masks.